To introduce you to Natasha Rocca Devine. She was born into a famous Irish family, then lived, well, you could call it the rock star lifestyle growing up. Now she's made a name for herself as a designer, charitable ambassador, and now an author. And her fascinating life gave her a great perspective for her new book. It's called The Industry, a fictional tale about the realities of show business. And it is an engrossing read, I have to say. Congratulations to you.
Thank you so much. I'm so glad you like it after reading it, so it's good to hear back.
Let's talk about the protagonist of the book, Alana, and her kind of journey.
So her name is Alana, but I purposely chose it as with the letter A to be a star. So this whole persona of being a star, and it's very social media orientated. So it's about like hashtag A star, at A star, becoming a star. So she's coming from a small town of Kerry, and she's trying to break it into London and then eventually America. So it's that whole idea of small town breaking big city, and the crossroads you face. She's a singer, dancer, and writer, and she's in a dance studio, and it's like, should she go the bad cop or the good cop route? And you know, it's all about these kind of challenges she faces on the castings and the good guys and the bad guys she meets in the industry.
Yeah, and she meets lots of them.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, I know this is a fictional tale, but you do have a unique perspective on the business. Let's talk about your family, because your mother was a former Miss Ireland.
Yeah.
Your father was a footballer.
Yeah.
And then your very, very famous stepfather is Van Morrison. I know you have nothing else to compare it to, but I mean, what's your life like when you grew up that way?
I think, like I say this to everyone, it was normal for me, but I suppose I always knew we were a little bit different when I said to my friends' parents about like where's the paparazzi and stuff on holiday and things. But you know, we've all of them, the three of them individually, are very hard workers. So I grew up around a lot of work ethic. You know, it wasn't like constantly partying. You know, there was obviously that element of it, but I saw a lot of hard work. And like my dad was playing for Ireland, my mom was working a lot. She was away a lot, so I grew up with a working mom. And then obviously Van, I mean, he's a complete artist. But you know, it was incredible. I got to go on world tours and like, you know, have a bodyguard called Tom when I was like 10, going around America and stuff. And then, yeah, I mean, just like seeing the highs and the lows of media. I was like, it was like I was an observer, you know, because I was so young, I didn't realize what was going on. And I got to like observe parties, observe the press, observe how it affected my mom, Van, and my dad, and people around me. So I think I have an insight into the industry.
Because there are some points in the book where, I mean, you just want to squirm, because there is such a seedy underside, as there is in every business, but particularly in show business. Do you remember sort of at what age you kind of realized that there was this underside to it?
Yeah, definitely. I remember one time when I was really young, a paparazzi came to the door and like pretended to be a flower delivery guy and came into our house and was in my mom's bedroom taking photos and stuff. Whoa. And my mom came back, and obviously she went, you know, a little bit crazy and stuff. But you know, the fact that they would come in and violate and like follow us, you know, we'd take a trip and they'd follow us on trains and like maybe pull my little sister off my mom, things like this, where you're like, this is, you know, this isn't what other people have to face. And then just like the stories that were written, like my mom and Van, you know, the things they would say, and then we'd be like, they'd say we're in Florida and we would be like in a coffee shop in Dublin, you know, this kind of stuff. So I saw that there was a lot of, you know, challenges to face at being in media, you know, from a very young age.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you have managed at a relatively young age to do a lot with your life, but I'm wondering, have you witnessed firsthand people sort of falling into the traps of the business?
Definitely. I mean, even like I've done some broadcasting myself, and you know, it's very hard. I say this to everyone, you know, especially with reality TV, it can become very addictive. You know, when you're in fame, you know, you come off a show and then how do you go and just like chill out afterwards? You know, that's why I'm very into metamorphosis and, you know, exercise and keeping real outside of it. So I've seen a lot of people, you know, get involved, like just in London and in America with drugs or eating disorders, you know, or just like doing things they wouldn't necessarily do to get ahead. But, you know, no judgment. I just want to, through this book, teach people, you know, to focus on the craft and you're going to make it. You know, just focus on that. It may take longer, but you'll still get there. So don't put yourself in situations that are dangerous.
You also gained some perspective at a young age, the age of 19. You got into a bad accident.
Yeah.
How did that change your view of the world?
Hugely. I was in a coma. I was in an accident in San Francisco, a really bad car accident. I was away for a summer, and you know, I was in bed on and off for many years, and I had to learn how to read and write. So I became very serious. You know, for a while after that, it made me serious, and I found my balance now. So I've read a book book about awareness, creating your own balance in life. So I look at things like always back, like I take a step back and I always see, is this good for me? Is this going to like help people? Is this going to help people around me? And I always evaluate things now more seriously. But at the same time, it's just all about living in the moment. Don't beat yourself up if you have a bad day, if things don't work out. Just enjoy it as you can and always go for your dreams. It just makes me much more just like, why not? When you face that, nothing is going to be worse. So just enjoy every day.
It strikes me that even though this is a work of fiction, but maybe at the end of the book, Alana kind of gets to that place that you described. It takes that journey for her.
Exactly. It's a trilogy, so the next book is like a year later, and then the other one is when she's older. So the industry after party is coming off.
Oh, fun.
Yeah, exactly. And then the other one is when she's older. But yeah, it is. It's a journey. It's a huge journey, and I think, like you say, the industry is reflective of any industry. So it's a personal journey of a woman maturing.
Well, if it's a trilogy, that means you have to keep coming back here.
I will, definitely. I love Calgary.
It's such a pleasure to meet you, Natasha Rocca Devine. The book is The Industry. It is available now, and links and information at breakfasttelevision.ca. Thanks for coming
Thank you so much for having me. Thank you.
We're going to check